Ta-da! Hello. Man, I am going to get some haircut because you can't even see the little chair, the little car above my head. That's my measurement of knowing when I need to get a haircut, even though it always looks pretty good. I'm a lucky haircut. Hey, good morning. Good morning, Spreading Sunshine. Kaylin, LGV, joined through the invite. Interesting. I don't even know what the invite is, but that's just me. I'm just double checking that all the updates I made to the, there we go. Yep. All right. Good stuff. Updated the secret page. So those of you who are in on the secret, I'm here for you. So what have we got here? Let's see if I can get rid of these stupid things. No. Okay. There. All right. TikTok. As if I've never done a TikTok or a YouTube live. I will have you know that there are, as of today, 983. Let me repeat that, 983 videos. Most of them, the vast majority, recordings of TikTok lives and YouTube lives that I've done. So talk about repetition and practice makes you do things. I don't know if I'm any better than the first one, but man, do I feel more comfortable in kind of just sitting here in a room in my house, talking to my phone and to you. I know, wowza, right, LGV? Right? Notice, I feel comfortable giving people I've never even met a nickname. I'm calling Laura Gibbon Voorhees LGV because I think it's fun. I wish I had a cool nickname like that. I feel good and what I share every day. I always run it through my filter. Is this helpful? Now, that's a bit of a riff on a Seth Godin that I read this morning. But when we have, and what he says, and I want to read it more, is basically we have stories in our head and just asking yourself, is this story I'm telling myself helpful? And the story I tell myself when I show up as Beth, Destination Decluttering Life Coach at your service, I show up and my story is, I think I can help somebody today. Yeah? Alrighty, so let's just jump into it right now. LGV, the person with the cool nickname, says, I'm curious. Now, hopefully I can see the second. Lady V, nice to see you. Hopefully, if there's a continuation of the what do you call it? Comment, I can see the second half. There we go, user 1622. Okay, Laura says, I'm curious. We love curiosity. Here, we love to examine the opposites. If something doesn't help you, turn it into something that can. Curiosity will help you. Curiosity opens up your mind and lets you discover things that you may not have noticed before. So she says, I'm curious. It seems that when I have errands or I'm away from the house, the surface clutter explodes. Okay, now, as we know, TikTok is being wonky. That is why, I'm so glad I saw this. We do have a gap between the TikTok live and the YouTube live today. That's good. That is good. But I would say this. I would get curious as to if it's your clutter or clutter that has been created by somebody else. I know on different TikTok lives and YouTube lives, people say then suddenly something happens. I go to bed at night and I wake up and the kitchen's a mess. And I always say, when you find the little people of Stonehenge that came and did that, let me know because I want us both to go to the Weekly World News and make a couple of bucks, okay? But usually clutter is tied to some person, or maybe a dog can leave their toys out. But typically it's a person who puts something somewhere where the social agreement is that it's not supposed to be there, and they don't do anything about it. So I don't know, LGV, I apologize. We are tied to the TikTok for the next hour or so. And if it's filtering comments, well, just F that. But if there's more in that, I can help. I do know myself, I will say this. When I am away from the house and I leave and I go do errands, I usually come back with a bunch of stuff, okay? And I will come back with a bunch of stuff. And then sometimes I just, kind of dump it when I come home, and it may take me a while to kind of not squirrel things away, but put things back where they belong. But I find when I do it, the quicker I do that stuff, the easier it feels. Oh, speaking of feeling good, and good morning, Judy and Barb. I have some good news to report because I promised yesterday that if I held you accountable to do some things that you didn't want, Judy, I think you were maybe making appointments, okay, is I publicly declared that there were 2 emails in my email box that I had to deal with that were just kind of low-lying, boring things that weren't necessarily, one of them is kind of time sensitive, but in that kind of like fire hot, they were kind of lukewarm. I'm just going to see if they're still there. And I want to thank you, okay? I want to thank you because you being in my life and me saying to somebody else, I'm going to hold you accountable. I don't just do that. I say, okay, you hold me accountable. And so the cool thing is, yesterday, I checked in for my doctor's appointment. That doesn't happen till next week. Did I need to do it now? But they popped it up and I said, let me just take care of this. Boom, done. The other one was filling out some stupid tax thing. It took, and I say stupid, it was very simple. A simple tax thing that technically I have from now until September to do. Now, last year, I just kept on kicking it down the road, kicking it down the road, kicking it down the road. When I finally did it, I learned, because last year was the first time, it would take all of about 5 minutes, cost me $7. So what did I do yesterday? I did it. I did it so I don't have to kick something down the road and keep it with me until closer to the due date. So yay. The final one was, there is one, and it's still there because it's I didn't realize how in-depth the packet was. There's a packet I need to fill out and then scan back, send to our tax guy, and my husband wasn't away yesterday. But I did the first step, which is I opened the document and I looked at it and I noticed it was too big, and then I printed it out. So I just want to share with you, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to possibly hold you accountable to doing something that you were dragging your feet on. But also thank you for being on the opposite end of that. Without me having somebody to communicate with, say, you know what, I'm going to do this stuff that it's not like I was dreading. It's kind of like that ambivalent, low-lying fruit. And yet, even though it wasn't on fire, even though it was kind of meh, it is so good to just have it done. What a freaking awesome feeling to realize that that part of that process is over. Well, two of those 3 things are actually done, and one of them is now on its way to being done because now we're going to do the next couple of chunks. So thank you, and I hope that whoever, and I'm thinking it was you, Judy, but I don't like to put people on the spot. I think there may have there were some people who said, okay, I'm going to do something and show up at the morning Destination Decluttered. Okay. Alrighty. So Laura GV, I see your thing. It says, this is driving me crazy. TikTok showing part 2. 100%. Me too. The next thing I see is says, the clutter is mine. Okay. The girl is mine, mine, mine. So when it's our clutter, that's kind of like the call is coming from within the house, that we may be able to blame some other people for stuff going on. But are we perfect with our clutter? No. I mean, even right now as I speak to you, I have surface clutter because it's, evidence of stuff that, I didn't shut that and that's open and things like that. But this is my private spot. I'm a lot more aware of that kind of stuff in the public area. So I just say, we've got habits, and a habit is something you've practiced over a long time. And so being decluttered is something you're doing it, but you're practicing it. But think of everybody. Think of how many years have you been a cluttered person? When I do hey, Judy, you could do this. Good job, she says. I still need to make my calls. Judy? Oh, actually, technically you might be in a different time zone. It is only 9:10 in the morning. Most offices open at 9 o'clock. You could make your phone calls during this TikTok live and then show up and say I did it, right? Okay, just saying. It's totally your choice, all right? Okay, so notice how long you have been cluttered. Now I think of it and I think back to the house I grew up in, my room when I was a kid, my college dorm room, my like apartments that I've lived in, even, the first couple of homes. And my ability to make things look good masked the fact that I bought a lot of stuff and it was kind of squirreled away. Okay, Sherry Aarons is saying all my life, and Barb is saying a long time. Why? Right? And what I want to just offer to you is think about this, okay? So let's say, oh, I know, I can use a measure, a ruler, okay? I got this. This was in the kitchen. This is one I got when I was back in the day. Okay, so think about this. Let's say you are just about to be 60 years old. I have no idea who I'm talking to, okay? Think about each decade of your life. This is one, from 1 to 10, then I'm 20, then I'm 30, then I'm 40. Think about how many times you have practiced being cluttered in your life, okay? Think about the millions. Okay, so Barb's 63. I'm going to push my finger over just a little bit. You'll be like 6 1/4, okay? So think about, just look at how literally every minute of the day, every hour of the day, every day of the week, every week of the month, every month of the year, every month of the year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Think about that frequency with which you observed people being cluttery. Think of the amount of times you yourself cluttered and it was okay. Think about that and think about how, yeah, I've had a lot of practice. So even myself, so I'm going to back it up a little bit right here because I'm closer to LGV is newly 58 and I am halfway 59. Okay. I literally have only started to seriously get my clutter act in gear, I would say, in the last 5 to 10 years. So look at this tiny little bit right here that you're practicing, but you have been practicing doing this other thing for so long. But what I want to offer to you is this. I say that as encouragement to cut yourself some slack. You are still a baby at doing the declutter things. You're a beginner. You are just starting. You're like you were when you were between 1 and 10 years old, learning this, but you're good at it. And the neat thing is, when you declutter, okay, when you are decluttering, it is something you practice, and the things you practice, you do get better at. So you are getting better all the time at your decluttering, and it is noticeable. Take a picture today, everybody today, tidy up if you want to or not. I suggest not. Take a picture of your living room today, okay? And I love this. LGV says, calling it a beginner tapped into my teacher language. I always was patient with other newbies. You guys, we are all newbies at this. You guys are patient with me when I don't make it to a thing on the rare occasion. I'm patient with you on the, when I'm, here on a TikTok live, YouTube live, doing one-on-one coaching. Be patient with yourself. You're just learning how to ride the bike. You're not even old enough in like if you're between the ages of 1 and 10, you're learning stuff that, you're just 10 years into something. You're not even old enough to drive a car. So have some fun, but keep on practicing things. Decluttering, as you practice it, does get so much easier. It really does. So I am here to help you through that struggly bit, okay? I am literally just a few years older than you, having more years of practice with this, but I also have cluttery habits. I see where I came from, and I walked into last week, and I'm not throwing my mom under the bus. I just look back and I say, wow, yeah, you've been a cluttered person for 80 plus years, and you still are. Now, that's okay for her. That's how she likes it. That's the way I like it. I like it different. I do. And I am liking how things are looking. Is there clutter all over the place right now? Yeah. You know what I love? not minding it because I say it's no big deal, I can do something about it. So if you're just a beginner in decluttering, welcome to the beginner. Welcome to the shallow end of the swimming pool. We're going to get comfortable in the shallow end with our beginner swimming lessons. And then as you get more confident in the beginning, we will swim slightly into the deeper end. Okay? Now, Debbie says, my mom was not a clutterer. Okay. She may have been, but she masked it. She may not have been. There are people out there who do not clutter. I'm not saying the way we are is always a direct reflection of where we came from, but I like to think that there's something I think it's interesting when we discover there's something about it. I have met people who grew up in very tidy houses that rebel against that because they were always felt very stressful. There was a lot of stress around keeping the house tidy and neat for various reasons. So other people don't like that. Say, yeah, well, when I grow up, it's kind of, as Gretchen Rubin says, your inner rebel. When I grow up, I'm going to do whatever I want in my house. Frankly, there's people that have a tolerance level. Everybody's on their own frequency. Everybody has their own tolerance level of the amount of clutter they can tolerate. Lord knows the boy in the other room and the other room that he stays in is so much more cluttered than my room. But he tolerates it. He lives it. It's no big deal. It does not activate him. Okay? There you go, Erin. I knew you were a rebel. I knew it. Rebel with a cause. Okay? And I say to you, just notice it. Just notice it. I have my inner punk rocker. I do. Now, Sherry is saying, this is fun. Sherry is saying, I love your habit tracker. Why, thank you. I'm glad you're finding it helpful. And thank you for reminding me to finish off yesterday's. So notice I'm Roy G. Biving mine because I have my highlighters, teeth brush, face wash. Yep. Okay. I did that last night. Oh, and you know what's funny? I realized this morning I did not take my night vitamins because we were out last night and I was so exhausted when I came home. But you know what I did? As soon as I remembered it this morning, I just took them. Okay. I don't think I've taken my fish oil. No, but I did. But thank you. I'm glad you like it. And the habit tracker is free to everybody. Well, not everybody. Only the real people. What's that one? Only the sexy people. Remember that one? Getting on the dance floor, something like that. What song is that? Hey, Nelly, no, only the sexy people. I'm cracking myself up. Alrighty. Yeah, Okie teacher, good morning. Good morning. See, talking about teachers, we were talking about the beginner mindset. The beginner mindset. I only go to beginner classes because I am a baby. I do not care to get better at certain things. But I also like the pace with which a beginner class goes. I inadvertently went to a non-beginner yoga class the other day, and I felt like Laverne and or Shirley, probably more Laverne. Luckily, I was in the back corner, but I was like, what am I doing? I'm playing like Twister with myself. It was kind of funny. Oh, Mevins. Michigan is snowing, and we're getting ready for another deep freeze. Oh, F that. F that. No, thank you. No, thank you. You're a brave, strong soul to live in a state like that. I will tell you, as I get older, I am less tolerant of cold. Why should I tolerate it? Pump up the volume, pump up the volume, pump up the volume, dance. Let's pump up that thermostat. I don't care if I have to pay extra money for the oil in the tank. I'm tired of being cold. Alrighty. Okie teacher, I retired 2 years ago. I finally was able to get rid of 10 teacher type books and it felt so good. Yay. So we were saying, and I'll bring it up again because as you teachers know, I pulled up a different ruler this time, okay? Because I have 2 rulers, right? We were talking about if your life is each one of these inches is a decade, thinking about how much time you have spent being a cluttered person versus the relatively small amount of time you've been practicing decluttering. And even that, notice 2 years would be just literally and metaphorically a very small fraction of your existence. So you think it took me 2 years, but in the grand scheme of things, 2 years can go by like a blip, you know? So, yay you. All right. All right, felt so good. Jungle Love? No, I don't think it was. Oh. I know that one. I know that one. Barb, I'm sorry, I'm just catching up. TikTok just gave me a flurry of texts. No, it's only the you know what? This is me and my ADHD brain, and I have extra caffeine in me. Think only the sexy people. I hope I don't get like a porn site here. Oh, I think it's, yeah. So all you fly mothers, get out there and dance. Dance. I said it's from Salt and Pepper. It's from Push It. Right. Only the sexy people. And you know what, you guys? I freaking love this. I have a Salt and Pepper shaker set. One is salt and one is pepper. But anyhow, see, notice I had something that was bugging me and I wanted to find it out. That was totally me distracto. Okay. Sorry. Barb was asking, how can I get a habit tracker? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Barb, I believe you are part of the Destination Decluttered email group. I wish I could, I have tried other names for it. I like to keep it simple and just call it what it is. You've given me your email address. Boom, you're part of the group. Welcome. Smiles, everyone smiles. When you signed up, and any email I send you has a link to what I call the secret page. It's part of my website, but it's not in the surface. The only way you get the link to the secret page, it's kind of like getting a key or the code to the certain room, like a speakeasy. There's a secret page. The secret page, one of the things on it is, I'm scrolling down. Oh, I'm on the wrong page. Sorry. Is, what is a declutter party? Get your tickets. Get your tickets here. We've got 2 declutter parties tomorrow, Saturday. Schedule your one-on-one coaching session. The third one down. Download and print your Pavers and Potholes monthly habit tracker. And that's what this thing is right here. Okay? I use it. It is wicked helpful to encourage me to do all those boring, mundane things that if I didn't write it down, I would probably do less frequently. But I know this is supposed to be good for me. All right? Kara's Garden, good morning. Coffee and Calm, nice to see you. Debbie, with a Deb and an I. We're getting on a cruise ship tomorrow for a week of sunshine, leaving Texas. Sunshine and leaving Texas. I love both of those. Yay, you. Barb, okay. Okay, Barb's in Connecticut. It's going to be 0 this weekend. Can't remember when it's been this cold. You know what? Everybody keeps on saying the weather's going to stink here in PA. I don't see any snow, though, so that's kind of cool. Kara's Garden. Oh, okay. Oh, goodness. Possible failing root canal. Now talk about taking care of your physical body and feeling better. Hopefully you can do something about it, my friend, and get some meds. Yay, we can distract you from it. There you go. Okay, and here's the funny thing. And you found a mouse in my chicken scratch. Okay, there we go. I'm sorry. The TikTok is delaying sending me the messages because, we're sending secret codes about how to overthrow the government when we're talking about salt and pepper and decluttering and root canals. We kind of are, but they're too dumb to know it. Okay? Yay. Thank you for people saying it was salt and pepper. I did have to Google it. I would have, had I not been kind of with the spotlight on me, I might have thought of it, but I love that people thought it was the time. Or do the bird, right? Fun. Good morning, good morning. Yeah. Alrighty. I'm here, but starting to drive. You guys pay attention. You will do no good to anybody if you don't feel well and you get yourself in an accident. All right. So it is Friday. It is Friday. Typically where I live is a Monday through Friday. It's a 5 o'clock world when the whistle blows. It's kind of the Sunday through Saturday type of week. And within that kind of boundary of Sunday to Saturday is a little 5-day thing we call the 9 to 5 world. We are today's the last day of the 9 to 5 world, which is usually where we go work for the man. And then we clock out and then we have time to ourselves. Hey, there we go. I love it. Kara's Garden. I'm getting up off of this sectional, a very hard thing to do. I hope that's because it's comfortable. In all y'all's honor. There we go. Carla is here. Carla is here. Here she goes. I conjure Carla from Alabama. All y'all. I love all y'all. I love it. Excellent. So, I hope that means you're getting off of your couch because it's so comfortable. Yay. So somebody is asking. I totally distracted myself. Okay, let me just do this one quick thing because I had to do this morning. Number one, how are you feeling physically? Scan from the crown on down. Notice Kara stopped right here at her teeth. And she said, oh shit, my tooth hurts. Root canal. Do something about it. I scanned. I got about this far and I was like, fudge. I'm getting a headache. So I took some Excedrin. Hello, extra caffeine. Scan yourself from the crown on down. How are you feeling? Good. Do something about it. Then check your nervous system. Are you way up here or are you way down there? Let's get yourself to where you're feeling just about right. Third thing is going to be writing stuff down. Fourth thing is going to be chunking some stuff down. Okay? So, people are writing stuff down in the comments section. So I will help with that. Denny 8 is saying, do we keep portfolio stuff? Denny, is that the Denny I know? I think it's Denny H from the 19958 maybe area. So, hun, perfect thing. Yay, I love it. It's so fun to see actually somebody that I've met in real life. So this is what I've done, okay? I realized, and this may be illuminating to you too, I only realized recently, literally within the last 6 months, that this may sound I don't need to prove anything to anybody anymore. My portfolio, my design portfolio, was proof that I could show to somebody of the work I did for them to hire me. I don't show that to people anymore. Or it's not that leather-bound thing that I bought when I was in art school filled with plastic pages and photos and stuff like that there. My portfolio, and yours is probably too, is now online. And so what I found freeing, and Carl, I would show it to you, but I showed it on a YouTube recently because I had my phone in my hand. I recently, only in the past couple of months, realized that I could allow myself to let go of this giant portfolio. It was like 24 by 36 because I had things that I had drawn in a life drawing class. And that was one of the classes that surprised me the most. I really was proud of the artwork that I did. Now, do I need to show that artwork to anybody else for a job now? No. But you know why I kept a lot of that stuff, and maybe you are keeping a lot of stuff too. And not just you, Denny, but saying, I don't need to show this to somebody else, but I am showing it to me to remind myself that I have been creative in the past, I am creative now, and therefore I will continue to be creative in the future. I also sometimes think, frankly, of wanting to leave a legacy of, hey, I don't know much about that great, great, great Auntie Beth who lived in the 20th and 21st centuries, but man, she was artistic. That's kind of cool. Now, when I realized that if I was just saving it for me, and heck, even if I wanted to share it with future generations, this is a digital world now, okay? And it is so much easier for me to literally have my portfolio in my pocket. Now, Denny, you know this about me, and you know that I've done a lot of writing and photography and things like that prior to the digital world would have only been available, in the books that I've read, the writing and the things like that in the tactile world. The crazy thing is now, I realized a number of years ago that so much of what we create now, so much of what all of us create now doesn't even exist in the physical realm. When I started writing my blog about vintage and retro places and showing my photographs, I wasn't printing it out and mailing it like a fanzine like I thought I would do back in the 90s. It wasn't getting a coffee table book, publishing deal. It was literally in the electricity of the internet. And that can be scary to think, okay, if the lights go out, what do I show somebody to prove who I am? And so sometimes it can be comforting to keep those pieces of paper. I am at the point right now where I am cool with who I am. I am creative. I have a lifetime to proof, of proof, and I have pictures of it along the way. And can I get rid of some of this big stuff that's just sitting in the corner there anyway? And the answer recently was, yeah, I think I can. And it felt good. Yeah, digital is okay. And then maybe what you do is you back up your digital, on an external hard drive, that type of thing. All right. Hope that helped. All righty. So Laura Lumac is saying, wedding in 21 days, living in my childhood home, not starting with a clean slate. Very few of us do. Okay. Very few of us do. How do I organize? Well, I would get clear, Laura Lumac, and congratulations on your wedding in 21 days. Awesome. Okay. I would concentrate on, and this is why I call my coaching destination decluttered, is what's your goal? Now, I don't play sports. That's why I don't call it a goal. I travel. I road trip, so I call it a destination. What are we aiming for? So your wedding is in 21 days. So you want to have a nice, calm wedding in 21 days? Living in your childhood home, is the wedding you're going to be in the childhood home? That is, so get clear on what you want. And when you know kind of a little bit, you don't need to have it be like a photorealist painting. But a few details about what you're aiming for allows us to kind of make a line between where you are and then draw a map of how to get there. Okay? How do I organize? How do you organize what? What I would do is I would start with, honestly, number 2 and 3, because somebody else said Galaxy Glitter. So let's remind ourselves of the 4 steps that I always go back to. And I always put my hand this way because they're kind of in order. Okay? Number 1, how are you feeling physically? Now, Galaxy Glitter is saying I'm so lethargic. So stop right there and say, how can I feel less lethargic? And often we think it's more rest, and sometimes, honestly, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, it's getting up and moving around, getting the blood flowing will maybe make you feel less lethargic. Okay? How are you feeling physically? Do something about it. Number 2 is, how are you feeling nervous system-y? Now notice, wedding in 21 days could have exclamation points. It's like exclamation points are here. And we want to get you from an exclamation point to like a comma, okay? Not like a period maybe, but maybe just a comma. All right? So so physically, but then mentally, organize your thoughts. This is why I say, okay, if you don't know what your destination is, immediately, my body is coaching as well as my mouth is, because my hands just picked up a notebook and a pen. Say, write down what you want. What do you want that 21 day to be, and work backwards from it, okay? Then once you write it down for yourself, you can share it in the comments if you want, but we can also chunk it down. So crown on down, calm down the nervous system, write down and chunk down. If you write down those 4 things, those will serve you well to get started. And the thing you're going to write down is, initially you probably might write down some of the cluttery thoughts to kind of put them somewhere so that you have a bit more of a clean slate here and say, okay, now that I've got all that mundane, I got to go to the, pick up some, dishwashing detergent and mail that letter, all that kind of rando stuff. You'll have a bit more of a clean slate here to say, okay, what do I want my childhood home to look like for my wedding in 21 days? And when your brain is not distracted trying to be a shopping list, because the shopping list is elsewhere, it can be the creative genius that it is. Your brain is like the cool guy in the office, the cool gal in the office, the cool person in the office who's the creative. So stop trying to make the creative be the admin too. Your brain works best when you clear its plate and you offshore the admin to another part of your brain. Okay? I hope that helps. All right. Here we go. Okay, teacher found yours. Your mom's from 1956. Yeah, my mom's portfolio. My mother was creative and an art student as well. She was talented. She still is. Well, she doesn't really do it anymore. But yeah, but do you want that stuff? Oh, Kara's Garden. Kara's Garden. We fell down the vintage 50s, 55 plus community for sale in Palm Springs last night. Kara, send me the link. This weather has got me looking at palm trees. Okay? Okay, Barb. So question. I raced cars in the early 90s. Oh, how freaking cool. I have tons of VHSs. What do I do with them? Barb, you know what I would do? I would show off like nobody's business, okay? I would show off like nobody's business. I would send them out. I would spend the money to get them digitized. Well, first of all, I would say this. You've got VHSs, so let me even back up. Do you have a VHS, like a way to play them? See, I can't remember the name of it. What was it, like a videotape player attached to your TV? Can you play those VHSs? Okay. Can you play those VHSs? Because if you are, then, we can, okay, VCR, thank you. Oh, and somebody said DVR. Yeah, VCR, thank you. Thank you, Hive Mind. See, we all help each other when I have a senior moment. And, okay, so you do have it. So notice this, and this is, when you have a VCR to play your VHS tapes, you can watch them. So you're the audience for that. But you know what? Honestly, as I said to Denny when we were talking about art portfolios, one of the reasons we save this stuff is we also want to share it with other people. Now, that may be showing off, but why the hell not? How freaking cool is it? You guys, we are surrounded by awesome people here. Somebody was a freaking race driver. Oh my God, it's like famous people. I want you to show that off to millions. This is who I was. Look at me. Look at what I did. I think sometimes we save stuff we save some things because we're afraid of forgetting something. We also save things because we are afraid of being forgotten. Mic drop moment, huh? So I say, make it harder to be forgotten, okay? This is what I would do. I would get those videos, I would digitize those, I would upload those suckers to YouTube, I would hashtag those with the dates and the times, and I would share that with people, okay? I would think that would be cool. Barb, how does that sound to you? I know I would love to see that type of thing because my father-in-law, Chris? Oh my God, I almost called my husband Cliff. Cliff's dad raced midget sprint cars in the late 50s and early 60s. I would love to see videotape of him in one of those things, but the technology wasn't available, And yes, and this is a good thing too, right off of that. Yep. So Okie Teacher says, I found some tapes from the 80s. Unfortunately, they have deteriorated and the images have faded. So that is why it can be very helpful for anybody who has a historic method of capturing that information, that those things do break down. The one thing that might be neat is that, so the other thing is too, is for example, like a commercial VCR may damage the tapes, but if you send them away, I know I've seen things, and now that I've talked about it, Kodak and Scan Cafe and whomever does the digital reformatting is probably going to flood your FYP. But they may have better equipment to more delicately handle the stuff so it doesn't do that, or they can color correct it. Okay? So I say that to people. Now, some of this stuff, as you said, Barb is saying, I was in I did a thing and it was a public thing. Now, sometimes, for example, if it's just your family VHSs, you may still want to do the same thing, maybe not make it public. Maybe you keep it private. You digitize those things and then you share those files so other people in the family can have them. Okay? Yeah? I bet you anything, a coupon is going to show up in your mailbox about that. And I have had good experience with that type of stuff. And here's the neat thing. Okay, I will share with you. There is a video on my husband's YouTube page for his song, Keep the Blue Skies. I made that video back 10, 15 years ago, and I made it from from Super 8 color movies that I found on a trash heap. Now, that was heartbreaking to me that a family's organized life of videos or images were just put out to the trash, but I don't know the relationship to the family. But so we got a friend who worked at a lab to just digitize like a roll to see if this stuff was good. And this person who made these videos was great. So I say one of the reasons we collect and preserve and take pictures and write down things is because we don't want to forget stuff, but we are part of that. We don't want to be forgotten. And so if you want these things to be remembered by people other than you, we have the digitizing capabilities. Just yesterday, I took a picture of a, do I have it? It's not, well, even here right now, because I have a box of sentimental clutter. It was like, like a party invitation that I received, and we determined it was in 1988. I still saved it because I'm a collector. We were talking about this party recently because it was a Groundhog's Day party, and I was able to find it because I've collected it, and just snap a photo with my phone and email it, not to the world because nobody knows, but to the 3 people who knew what I was talking about. It meant it was really fun to create that connection. Okay. Alrighty. There we go. Cat Mama says, had niece's wedding and Europe trip transferred DVD from VHS through Walgreens. And now they often give you a video equivalent as well that you can translate it so you can upload it. Now, I love this. Kara's Garden says, we just digitized 18 rolls of Super 8 film of my grandfather. I posted a TikTok of one of me at 6. How neat is that? I love that. I can't wait to see that on your TikTok. So cool. And if you don't mind, if you want to share who you did your digitizing with, feel free. I know I've used Scan Cafe in the past. And there are also, I think about this too. I don't have much in the way of like videos in my past that I think I'm a part of because I've always been very shy and behind the camera. My husband, on the other hand, has been on stage since he was like 15 years old. That's a wicked long time ago at this part. And he was on a stage playing guitar. So a lot of people had videotapes of him. And when I first met him, now almost 25, 30 years ago, there was a VHS tape that already somebody had saved the highlights to. We then got that digitized, and now that is also up on YouTube too, because there may be people who are searching, like, what was that band we saw at the bandstand at the beach that time? Or what was that band we saw open up for Bon Jovi? So notice we go back to, why am I doing this? Why am I saving this? Because I want to remember that beautiful sunset. So I'm there taking a picture of it. I want to remember, and I want to be remembered. You know? There we go. I love it. Yep. Yeah. Says, had tons of old film from Dad. I remember you guys doing that. Yep. My sister did it. It was $325, but we split it in 3, and it was totally worth it. No sound, because, yeah, I think Super 8 might have been the one that had sound, but regular 8 didn't. Notice the money is there to do cool things. The money is there to help make what you want to do easier. And so that sounds like money well spent. And the neat thing is that your memory, like Barb, your memory may be of you in the driver's seat, but there could be somebody who is looking for evidence of whatever race you were racing in, because they remember being there, and they have a memory associated with it. Harkening back to my father-in-law, he was a midget sprint car racer back in the day, and when he died and we cleaned out the family house, we had a lot of his memorabilia because he also was a saving pack rat. Luckily, we were able to find out near York, PA, there's like the Eastern Museum of Motor Racing, and we contacted them and said, would you like some of this stuff? And they were psyched about it. If there were videos of him, I would have loved to get that out there to, again, share with other people So it's not sometimes just about you. Realize the other people that would love it to see. I mean, can you imagine how funny it would be if like somebody from, like, I think about this, like unbeknownst to me, when I was in college radio, somebody came by with a video camera and took some pictures and we never knew about it. And then now they uncovered it and they did it and they like keyworded it. So when you were looking up whatever it was, you could find it. What a neat way to connect with other people, you know? So let's use the technology we have to make it easier to live in our houses with fewer VHS tapes and paper. And I'm not saying eliminate it. I'm not saying get rid of it all and go digital, but man, if it feels like you can do it, I have trust in the digital world more so than other people. Will I still keep that Groundhog's Day 1988 paper thing? Yeah, probably. But there's a lot of stuff in this box now that I'm going to go through today, this weekend, when we do the YouTube parties, the TikTok or the declutter parties, that I know I can more easily let go of now, because I don't need to prove to anybody else except myself. And I'm cool with it. My life is proof that I'm living a life I love and I've done cool things. Me telling you I was in college radio, means I don't need to keep all this random stuff that's like, see, I was in college radio, you know? Oh my God, more of those. And some of these things, like, I didn't even go. I was invited to 3 Colors First video release party. It's so funny. We know somebody from this band. See, this is funny. Now I'm like, who was that? I didn't even go to this, but I kept it. But now I remember some guy from One Big Tree hanging over me. I'll ask my husband. But I digress. Oh, and here, check it out. Talk about the 80s, right? Yeah, I'm going to keep this. And yes, it is. That's so funny. We were trying to figure out what year it was, and I flip it over, and it has my name. I was living at home, so this is after I left that college. And what do you call it? It only costs 22 cents to mail it. So I'll save some of these things, but not all of it. Yeah, and I'll feel good about what I let go of, and I'll feel good about what I save. You know? Okie Teacher has one of those digital picture frames, and I love it. I add pictures all the time. I think that's a cool idea. I'll offer this. I know, like, we don't watch our TV a lot, and it's not in a way that it would be there, but I've heard that you can, like, kind of connect it to your photos, and you can turn your TV into a digital picture frame, right? A niece had some of Dad's film put on a DVD, asked her to make me a copy, but she did not, and you're pissed. Okay, Cat Mama, you were pissed then, but she still has the DVD. Could you ask to borrow it and make a copy for yourself? You know? Yeah. Well, there we go. Well, there's a little bit of drama behind that. Yep. So, yeah. Okay, you guys, we got about 12 minutes to go, and this is kind of cool because we've been talking, my Beth Destination Decluttered, Decluttering Life Coach, 48 minutes in, and we got our first troll. That's pretty good. And I immediately muted them, so you don't have to worry. Yeah. Now, Cat Mama says, yeah, we don't have much money either, but selling stuff helps. Yeah. And okay, so Cat Mama is saying there is some drama between her and her niece has the video. Here's a cool thing. You may never examine this. You may never get access to those videos that your niece has. So if the more you can say, the more you can kind of hold that with a loose hand and say, that's okay, because I remember my dad in here, and that's all I need. I don't need other evidence to prove of that person existed. I can create my own proof. I can write down the stories. I can picture those pictures in my head, and I can describe what I see. So you may never get access to that stuff. So I say start to get comfortable with that. And if you're not comfortable with it, I don't know, break into your niece's house and steal it, for crying out loud. Yeah. Yeah. And so notice this Desert Child AZ. There we go. I have film. I'll just have to redo it myself. Cat Mama, do that for you and your peace of mind. Okay? Desert Child is saying, notice this. I don't trust that the digital age will convey to future generations. Formats and platforms change. They do. And that's one of the reasons that one of the extra steps in our digital ages now is trying to keep up with things like that. But the thing is, Desert Child 2, is no medium is immune to age. Papyrus goes and decomposes. Paper disintegrates. Things get stainy and break down. Nothing is meant to last forever, both in the physical world and in the digital world. And I will say this, is I think that it is so much easier to share and create multiple copies of things in the digital world, and that increases the likelihood that it will live. When you only have one piece of paper, where's that one? When you only have one piece of paper, I am the only person who can see this. If in the other generations, if I wanted to share this with somebody, I would have to mail it to them. I would have to take a picture and then get a negative and a print. And even that, the negatives would decompose. The prints would decompose. Notice, this is getting torn and yellowy. But digitizing gives you the ability to scale this. And then when you scale it, you could download it on your own computer. Somebody could have a copy saved there. Okay? So, but notice what your resistance to doing something stems from fear. Stems from, and I want to get your, lack of trust equals fear. I am afraid that digital things will not convey to future generations because formats and platforms change. Notice we're experiencing this right now. So what do you do when a platform changes? You keep up with the changes, like you take your Super 8s to VHSs to DVDs to a video file on like a Fire Stick. Okay? Yeah. Jelly Bee, I love that you say I have an A+ hair day. You know what that means? It means that there's a haircut in my future because my hair is like, no, don't let go of me. Look at how good I can look. Thank you. I will say I do notice that it does take a long time for me to dry it. And I don't like to spend too much time drying my hair. So I do have a haircut appointment next week. Speaking of appointments, we have declutter parties this weekend. Take a look at your calendar if you want one. Yes, I have a hair appointment on Monday, of course. Alrighty. Only our memories last forever. You know what? And sometimes they don't. Sometimes we don't. This is the fear, and this is why I think myself personally, because I look down the road and I see what age people were in my family when they started losing their memories, when their VHS tapes up here started crumbling and they didn't remember things. This is why I am going through and labeling things and getting things in order so that things won't be forgotten if they're only locked up here. That's why I'm taking pictures and sharing. That's why I'm actively mailing things out to people. That's why I'm texting things to people and writing down numbers. And frankly, it is a fear-based response, but that fear, as opposed to keeping me stuck, has kicked me into action. I don't want some of whatever I know to be lost to history. Some of the things I have saved are fine to be lost to history. Other ones, I want to make sure somebody else knows about this. Okay? And so if my brain fails, if this format gets corrupted, I want to make sure that there's other ways of that story being told to other people. Okay? Yeah. Now, Desert Child says, the greatest treasures in my life are the things that were handed down to me from my grandparents. Awesome. Notice you're treasuring those not only because they're whatever they are, but they have a story attached to them, handed down. Not just the thing, but these came from my grandma, you know? So notice that. And yeah, Kara's Garden is saying it's so hard to watch our parents forget things. Hell's to the yeah. We're experiencing it right now. My whole crew of friends, one of the top topics of conversation is, how are you dealing with your aging parent? How's your mom? How's your mom compared to my mom? And I'll be honest with you, to me, the even scarier thing that none of us wants to really admit, but I'll say it here with a clean slate. We feel bad for them, but we also feel bad because we know that could happen to us. Because we remember when they were sharp as a tack, and now they're getting a little bit dulled. And that can be scary to say, shit, that may happen to me. So if you don't want that to happen to you, you can do things to decrease the likelihood. But at a certain point, the body's going to body. So I say to you, while you still remember these stories, while you still know who those people are in the video, while you are still the keeper of the memories, write down what you have, disseminate the information, offload it to external hard drives to increase the likelihood that it will be surviving. This is really interesting because last night I watched the movie, the 1966 version of Fahrenheit 451. And you know how, and it ended up being the backwards, that they burned the books and all that was left was memories. But notice the flip on that was if somebody who was the walking book forgets that book, then the book is gone. They also didn't have the digital age, but it was a very cool looking movie anyway. Alrighty. Yep. So yeah, it can be heartbreaking. Yeah. It can be heartbreaking. So don't break your heart. Don't go breaking your heart. Do something about it now. Your fear of forgetting, have that spur you on into action. What can you do this weekend? You can take the pictures that you like and flip them over and put the date on it. You can list the people in it. Okay? Yeah. And you can use your brain for as sharp as it is right now. Okay? Oh, Jesse. Yep. People react about clutter, not necessarily because of you, but it triggers something in them. Yeah. Yeah, and I would like to think Mommy Salami says the memories that are the most meaningful to us stay with us. At least I saw that in my dad. And what I will say is this, hopefully when we all, even if we all get dim, and when we die and go away into the night, the Milky Way, thank you for being right? You're going to remember the good stuff. So help yourself to remember the good stuff. Share with your friends from college radio when you had that Groundhog's Day party in 1988. Communicate, share that. The things you repeat, you grow stronger. So repeat the good stories, Repeat the good stories, and the other stuff, fade it out, let it go. I could tell horrific stories about those same times. I choose not to. I tend to pave the highway with the good stuff. So when I think back to those times, I don't see how I was breaking up with the guy that was my first ex-husband, that I had no idea what I was going to do with my life, that I felt like I was, ugly and stupid and shy and listening to the Smiths. I can say that very confidently right now as if I'm watching it on a black and white, portable TV from Sears. Because I also know at that same time, kick-ass things were happening. The fact that now, 30x many years later, 40x, whatever the decades are, in a heartbeat, I can text somebody from back in the day because I maintained that connection with them. Yes, and Pam the dog lady, where's my Carla thing? Don't go breaking my heart. I couldn't if I tried. And thank you from Mommy Salami, thinking I have a nice voice. I have a lovely singing voice, a lovely singing voice. All right, speaking of that, I don't know what speaking of that. Okay, Mama D, what did I miss? Okay, so this is the bummer. Because TikTok is totally, this past week, please notice, TikTok has been, for whatever rando reason, not giving all of the comments. They say some of the comments are filtered. I'm going to see. I will write that down now. Undo comment filter on TT, as I like to call it, like TT the Bears. But I am missing some of your comments. This is one of the reasons. When formats change, we are the flexible people. We are going to also be flexible enough to go to another platform, another format. That's why, not immediately, because I thought it was right after this, and I'm glad it's not because I want to take a shower. 11 a.m. today, in an hour, we're going to meet again, but we're going to do that over on the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. Okay? So this is one of the things I've realized is we have a break. We can chunk it down. We had a chunk together. Then there's a chunk that you can do whatever you want with it. And if you want to get together after that 1 hour chunk, we're going to do it. And we're going to practice being flexible. We're going to practice saying, this isn't working for me anymore. This is the VHS. Let's go over to the DVD version, which is Destination Decluttered on YouTube. Okay? So it's 10 o'clock right now. I have chunked down our things. I'm getting better at this. I look forward to meeting up with anybody, whoever here, except for trolls and haters. You're not allowed in the club. My name is Beth, Destination Decluttered, Decluttering Life Coach. Get some good stuff done in the next hour. Show up and show off with us what you got done on the YouTube. And I say this to you too. If you are not part of the email group, well, that's up to you. But if you join it, you get to know the official times of when we show up and meet up and can help you with your clutter. And how you join the club is by just going to my website, destinationdecluttered.com. Scrolling down from the home page, you'll see a big old thing that says, put your email address in here. Promise you're not a robot. Hit enter. You're in. Okay? Mardi Gras coming up. Is that next week? Is it already? I'm feeling kind of gras myself. I just ate some tortilla chips for breakfast. So, alrighty, yay. Nat, I look forward to seeing you on the YT. Yay, this is going to be fun. Okay, and yeah, look at this. People pay big bucks for a bedhead like this. All right, I'll see you.